Hi guys! Today I want to talk to you about hijabi hair care. This is a cause close to my heart. It's something that I've lived with since I started wearing hijab when I was in grade 4, so about 10-12 years old. And because I've been wearing the scarf since then, I've gotten quite used to doing things that make sure that my hair is healthy and happy underneath my hijab. But recently, speaking to a couple of friends, I realized that these tips are something that not everyone knows about or not everyone maintains, and it's good to have a reminder every once in a while. So here are my hijabi hair care tips. The first tip, the very first thing that hijabis need to do or need to stop doing is tying wet hair. Now, a lot of us hijabis have long hair, and tying up any kind of wet hair, but especially long hair, causes a lot of problems. I used to have hair, quite long hair, and when I was in Sydney, when I lived in Sydney, which had a sort of general nice warmish climate, used to have a shower and my hair would dry naturally, that was fine. After I moved to Canberra and it's super cold here, not as cold as it is in America and Canada, but you know, cold enough for me, and I began to find that my hair wasn't drying normally and I wasn't giving myself enough time between the shower and going out. And I ended up having to tie my hair while it was wet. And I ended up getting these little pimples type things on my scalp, which was really annoying and frustrating and itchy and embarrassing. When you have to scratch your hair underneath your hijab when you're in public, it feels awkward. And so I went to the doctor and she said that I had scalp pimples, and I had never heard of such a thing, but it's apparently when you tie your hair wet and there's an excess hair oil on your scalp and it turns into pimples. There was a couple of things that she told me to do which I've lived by religiously since then, and I found a huge improvement in my hair. So first she said don't tie your wet hair. Second, she said don't use supermarket store shampoo. Now, a lot of us have grown up with supermarket shampoo, Pantene, Elvive, all these other shampoos. And you know what? For the first 20 years of my life, they did a pretty good job. I was fine with them. But I found that as soon as I turned 30, my body started reacting to chemicals differently. And the scalp pimples were a result of me using supermarket shampoo. So the first thing I did was stop using them. But the problem is that even when you stop using them, your hair already has quite a thick layer of chemicals built into your scalp as a result of using those for a long period of time. So the first thing you have to do is make sure that you're removing all of that chemical buildup. Two of the things I use to get rid of that chemical buildup in my hair is, well, first thing was the coal tar shampoo. So this is the one I've been using. It's the Red Wind Sensitive Skin Coal Tar Shampoo. You can see that here. And you can see here that it specifically addresses dry scalp and it removes the flaking. But it's got aloe vera in it, and it's formulated to reduce flaking of the scalp through a gentle moisturizing and exfoliating process. So through that exfoliating process, it's actually removing that chemical buildup. The next thing I've been using is this shampoo. So it's a Neutrogena's Tea Gel shampoo, and I've been finding that it's really good. Now, disclaimer, not all of the things that have been working for me will be working for you, but I think you should definitely give these two a try and at least see if they help remove that chemical buildup in your skin, on your scalp. The next thing I've been using is this. I've got it from Aldi. It's the Protein Naturals Moroccan Argan Oil Renewing Treatment Mask, and I use this in place of a conditioner. And I'm actually finding that it leaves my hair quite nice and smooth and silky and frizz-free. So they're the couple of things that I've been using. Change up your shampoo and your conditioner. Make sure that you're not using too much of it. Do not wash your hair every single day with shampoo and conditioner. You need to let your natural oils come through your scalp. If you don't, you'll have the chemical buildup and you will end up eventually having this really flaky, itchy scalp because your oils are trying to burst through. Your natural oils are trying to burst through that chemical layer. Yeah, so first thing first, don't tie up wet hair. The other thing I want to say about tying up wet hair is you don't have to have long hair. Long hair is not a sign of religiousness in Islam, okay? I don't know where. I think a lot of people from the subcontinent have this misconception that you have to have long hair. It's a sign of femininity. It's a sign of religiousness. No, it's not. And especially when you get older, especially when you're juggling kids, school, work, whatever kind of priorities that you have, trying to maintain long, healthy hair is a real struggle. And if it means that you need to cut your hair to be able to be healthy, then you should cut your hair. And that's exactly what I did. And I found it so much easier to manage. And it means that I don't have to tie up my wet hair and go out with wet hair, catch a cold, have an itchy, flaky scalp, and all those other things. So don't tie up wet hair. Evaluate whether or not you can have a haircut and maintain. And even if you don't have to have a drastic haircut. You can have a trim every 6 to 8 weeks to keep your hair nice and healthy. So don't tie up wet hair. Get your hair cut. Change up your shampoo. Make sure that you're using shampoos that are sulfate and paraben free. Avoid that chemical buildup in your hair. Now, another great tip to get rid of that chemical buildup on your scalp is to make your own hair oil. So this is my version of my hair oil. My mommy actually made this for me. But this oil is actually a mixture of olive oil, coconut oil, almond oil, and black cumin seed oil. Now, those are 4 different oils that you'll see everywhere as soon as you Google it that are really good for your hair nourishment and your scalp nourishment. So why not put them together? I use this before I have a shower, and I'll massage it into my scalp, massage it into my hair, leave it for about 40 minutes to an hour if I have the time. Even 15 minutes will do the trick, but make sure you're getting into your roots and massaging it really well. And then shampoo. And you'll find that giving your hair that nourishment, that treatment, that massage at least once a week will really make a difference to the strength of your roots, and your hair fall will lessen considerably. And alongside of that, another really important one, especially for us hijabis, is get some sunlight. It's so important that we give our hair that natural sunlight. Now, depending on where a lot of us live, we might live in an apartment, we might live where it's a very close-knit building, so that you can't go outside without your hijab and get that sunlight. Sit in a room that gets the most sunlight in your house, open up the windows and try and get some sunlight onto your hair, at least even parting it differently. So if you usually part your hair down the middle, try and part it on one side or the other, and just get the sunlight to go into every part of your hair. I found that really makes a difference, and it really feels great as well to have that 10 minutes of downtime at least, and just put away your phone, put away everything else, and just sit down and have some time to yourself in the sun. It's really it makes you feel good. And then the last thing I want to say is just really consider what kind of caps that you're wearing underneath your hijab. So I have 3 sisters, and most of them, well, I think all of them, wear this kind of cap. And I know a lot of you wear this kind of cap, and it's tight, and a lot of you wear the non-cotton version of it because it's a bit more stretchy. I've never been able to wear this cap. I found that it gives me a headache. And so the type of cap that I use is actually lace, and there's different versions that I use. So this one is actually like a long rectangular lace thing with a slit for your head, and you can use the design. I don't use the design, so you just put that on your head and then tie it back. There's the band version. Again, it depends on what gives you a headache and what doesn't. Make sure that you're not pulling your cap too tight over your hair. So this is nice and stretchy, and this is another cap version. And I've bought these all online, or have my friends buy them for me from Singapore or Indonesia. So I'm sure they're readily available. But if you wear caps like this that are lace, or caps that are stretchy, then they won't put so much pressure on your head. Make sure you're not tying up your hair too tightly. Make sure you're not tying up your hijab too tightly, because that's what's going to cause the stress to your roots and your scalp and cause your hair to fall out. Now, a lot of you might be in situations where you're living with non-mahram and you can't take your hair out, and you can't be sitting in the sun and things like that. In which case, I'd say, try and loosen it all up a little bit and give your hair that room to breathe. So it's really important that you're taking care of your hair. Make sure that you're trying out different variations of hairstyle underneath your hijab. Just because you wear a hijab doesn't mean you don't need to take care of your scalp and you don't need to take care of how you're parting your hair and how you're tying your hair, make sure you brush it. I try and count to 100. 100 brushes every night is a minimum to keep that scalp massage going. Make sure that you're using a flat brush or a round brush, whatever suits you, but make sure you go in with 100 brushes a night. Change up your shampoo, don't tie up wet hair, get a trim, and consider changing your hijab caps. These are just some of the things that have worked for me. Let me know what works for you, or if you've tried any of these things and what you think about it in the comments below. Thank you very much. Talk to you soon. Bye.